Hey, Southern California hikers. Well, you made it to midterm. Way to go. We're on nutrition, and this will kind of be the last big piece of our puzzle that we're trying to put together to make as much um, under our control as possible when it comes to living a healthy, balanced life. We've looked at exercise and movement, and so you're taking your steps. We've looked at relaxation exercises so that you can gain more control over possible anxiety or pressure and stressor situations. And we've looked at your sleep programs to give you the most opportunity to get rest and rejuvenated and ready to go for the next day. Now we take on nutrition, and it's a huge piece of the puzzle that we cannot hope to even come close to really covering. So let's just start with a few basic assumptions, and then we'll move through it quickly. You're going to devise your own plan, and you will make it whatever you want it to be. It's not something I want for you necessarily. It's something that you see a value for yourself, just like all the other programs have been. Just basics wise, we know that calories in create a weight gain, calories out create a weight loss. So it's all up to you to determine how many of those you're going to be counting, and what's going to win, calories in or calories out. It's a little more complicated than that, so let's break it down. The calories are divided into three groups: fats, proteins, carbohydrates, and it's the balance of those that will determine just how well your eating program is going to go. There are 100 million probably sources out there to give you their thoughts on what percentages of what you want to eat and how you want to maintain your body composition. But let's just take some very basic facts. Most of our challenges with eating, either in gaining weight or even losing weight, centers seem to be more around carbohydrates. So let's look at those first. Carbohydrates are broken into two parts. There's simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. And the difference is fiber. Simple carbohydrates look like white sugar, white flour, white rice, white potatoes, the things that generally starchy, have very little maybe nutritional value in and of themselves, or it's been processed out. Complex carbohydrates are those carbohydrates that have the fiber left in them, or the way that I guess God caused them to grow. And with that fiber attached, they create a slower metabolism and therefore don't spike your blood sugar quite as much. And that's the problem here with carbohydrates, more than the fats or the proteins by far, is what they do to your blood sugar. Your blood sugar is a regulator in your body for your brain health and the rest of your body health. And if you're low in blood sugar, your brain is going to call for more. And usually if you wait too long, it's going to call for simple carbohydrates. Or if you have a habit of filling that call with simple carbohydrates, you're going to run to your Snickers bar or even your fruit juices or something to satisfy that initial request from your brain. And the problem with that is it spikes your blood sugar so fast because there's simple carbohydrates. There's nothing to slow down that metabolism. And as the blood sugar then spikes up, especially if you were at lower blood sugar and it spikes to pretty high, your body, your brain is set up from ancient days to respond to this as a challenge, as a problem. And so it will yell at the pancreas to get to work and create insulin that will bring the blood sugar down. That's what creates a lower blood sugar, is the increase of insulin. Well, if you're doing a lot of this, simple sugar stuff, simple carbohydrate stuff, your insulins are going to be spiking all the time. And it's too much insulin for the need But that's just the way your body works. It sees a spike in blood sugar and wants to make sure it doesn't double or triple, so it throws in enough insulin to make sure it goes down. Well, usually it not only goes down, it goes way down, and now you're in this insulin rebound effect, and now you want more sugar because it feels like your blood sugar is too low, and so up and down you go. Anyway, with simple carbohydrates, this is the problem, and most foods in our society today, you have to look for complex carbohydrates where you don't really have to look too much for simple carbohydrates. You really don't even have to look for carbohydrates because carbohydrates will be in at least fruits and vegetables by themselves without looking, without even caring. So you could kind of go without carbohydrates altogether and still not go without them because they're included in other foods. But our society is pretty fired up about carbohydrates, and they're in everything max, and usually they're in simple carb form. So you have to be on purpose looking for a lowering of carbohydrates and a increasing, if you are going to eat carbs, the simple carbohydrates. So that's the first main thing. Your fat and your protein are not going to spike your blood sugar, so the more of those you eat, you're going to have a more flat line or a steady up and down with your insulin responses, so where it's not spiked and you're not having these huge, euphorics and then need a nap type of thing. And so for a balanced diet that we want to bring into this idea of good healthy living is something that you have, let's just say as a balance, you might have 25% carbs and you might have 30% fat and 40% protein. That might be just an example, but again, it's kind of up to you. Now, if you want to gain weight, I would increase my protein and my fat and keep my carbs actually somewhat lower, but not low. Again, 25% is good. But the proteins and fats are the ones that are going to build muscle and bring on and carry more calories per bite, as to say. So those are the things to do. If you're going to lose weight now, you want to actually be decreasing your carbs, because carbs end up, again, spiking your insulin responses, and your insulin actually shuts down your fat burning processes. So if you have too much insulin too often, your body's going to respond by shutting down its fat burning cells. So even when it needs energy to burn, the fat cells aren't going to open up because they've been so conditioned to shut down because of the insulin responses. Okay, so what are we talking about here? Losing weight. If you're going to be trying to actually lose weight, you're going to need to look at being under 100 calories of carbohydrates a day. If you're going to be maintaining your weight, you're going to be around 100 to 200, and if you're going to gain weight, you're probably going to be over 200. So that calorie count on your carbs is going to be kind of maybe what most of us are looking for to aim for. Now, I've said all this through a nutritional mindset. A lot of the problems with our world today is a focus on an unusual focus and unneeded focus on body sculpting and what we look like, and most of us have a pretty healthy viewpoint when we look in the mirror. Some don't, and I really, if food has not been a friend to you, if the mirror has not been a friend to you, I think you should really probably not spend a lot of time on this. Just get some real basic, like I said, 25, 30, 40 percentages, and just stick with those and don't worry, too much about it. Maybe even that's too much, because focusing on food can create, anxiety and problems that it's totally unnecessary, especially in the scope of this class where we're trying to decrease our anxieties and our responses to stressor, not increase them. So don't let food be a stressor or an anxiety issue for you. I just wanted to give you the basics and surround this assignment to create a nutrition plan with a few basics to look at and to consider when you make your program. Okay, so for 3 days you're going to track your eating habits. You're just whatever you eat. I'd like it to be during the week, so it doesn't include a weekend. I'd like for you to track it through myfitnesspal.com, and through that they'll give you all that you need to track whatever it is you eat, and they'll break down for you how many carbs, how many proteins, and how many fats there are. So initially you almost don't need to worry about your percentages. You're going to get those back, and then you can decide how you want to make changes. Much like a bank account, if you want to save money, or if you just track it. You don't even try to save money, you just track it. And then you find out, oh, maybe I'm spending $30 a month on Redbox rentals or something, especially overdues. And and maybe you decide, what, I'd use that $30 somewhere else. So just by tracking, it really brings awareness and help things, and you can make decisions later on about what you want to do with it. So you'll be tracking for 3 days, and then you'll make your nutrition program. And our discussions will be more around some questions you have about that. And sure appreciate you guys in this long distance learning and being video taught. I appreciate your efforts to hang with this class and to see it through. I hope that this is going to be continue to be a very positive influence in your life, and it already has in mine as I'm working this right along with you guys. All right, take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.